There we go. All right. I have sent you a link. You should have it in your email. Most recent link anyway. You probably have. Okay. See you in a minute.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye. Hi, Dr. Campbell.
Open myself up here. There we go.
There you are.
There I am. Okay.
All right. Cool. Practice round over. Let's do this again. I have with me today Dr. Dennis Campbell. He's a chiropractor in California. He teaches at Life West University. He's also a graduate from the Animal Chiropractic 101 course. And um, he is also a graduate from our food animal adjusting course. And he's got other credentials, which I'll let him share with you, that make him a super smart guy. Dr. Campbell, thanks for joining me.
In title only. I look good on paper. I'm Dr. Dennis Campbell. I'm an advanced Blair instructor. I'm a adjunct professor at Life West Chiropractic College and Life West University, excuse me. Um, I'm on the research committee of the ICA for the development of the diplomate program for the animal chiropractic program. Um, I bet I've got approximately 40 years of practice, and we're currently involved in some really great research involved at a local dairy farm with 6,000 head of cattle. Well, that's enough.
That's great stuff. So tell me a little bit briefly, um, how did you get into adjusting these cows?
Well, a few years back when I was looking at what was over the horizon, I was looking at animals and I was going, I wonder what would happen if I applied my particular technique to animals and adjust, see what would happen. Well, common sense told me to look into, like I was looking for an anatomy book, perhaps a class to take for the weekend. And I ended up talking to Dr. Hayek on the phone. And before I got off the phone, I was enrolled in the class at A.C.E.S and starting off on my Animal 101, which was completed within a 2-year process. And then I took the A.C.E.S test, and then I ended up going and adjusting those animals. I had patients that had dairy farms. They were that and there's then I had patients that have cattle running up on the hills and stuff. And when I was talking to them about the adjusting and my one thing led to another, and I'm now at this dairy farm in the Pixley, California, with a cow population of 6,000 head of cattle there on that particular dairy farm.
Nice. Good job. So what kind of response are you seeing in these cattle as they get adjusted?
Well, we've seen a lot of results, and there's a lot of statistics on wellness and things like that. But we've been doing this since January of this year, 2025, and the ones that have popped out the most is how fast the cows get pregnant when they're being adjusted versus when they're not being adjusted. And statistically, it's like 89% get pregnant on the first artificial insemination of the cows that have been adjusted versus only 50% of the cows getting pregnant that were not adjusted. That was exciting, but not as exciting as this. The cows here on this particular dairy farm have an average of 3 calves, and then they're no longer reproducing, so they're no longer good for dairy calf, and they're sold off into the meat market. Well, we took several groups, and we're continuing to do so as the part of the focus, where we took hard breeders, which were um, cows that had been bred and AI'd anywhere from 5 to 11 times. And so they were going, well, they're not producing anymore, so they're off to the meat market, but they gave them to us, and we adjusted them with a particular protocol, and we got 55.6% of when you totaled up all the 3 groups together to produce another calf.
Wow.
That is
That's like
just
super.
phenomenal. That reaches over into where as 15% of the meat comes from the meat market comes from the dairy cattle. With that particular statistic, from the mouths of the owners sitting there right there, they were going, if that was to be tossed out there to all the dairy farms and stuff, we could actually double the amount of percentage that they'd go from 15 to 30% easily, or if not more, where the dairy farms themselves would be producing 30% or more of America's beef.
That's awesome. I mean,
That is awesome.
that's
That's a great statistic.
that's an awesome way to help those farmers make more income. And
When you get in, yes, there's that could be a make or break. When you there's a lot of statistics when a lot of financials you run on that, and that's I mean what we're basically doing this with the dairy farm is to increase their bottom line, but perspectively on this particular dairy farm with 6,000 head of cattle, uh, the milk production, the finances and the milk production with that, with the replacement calves and how much milk they produce and the yada yada, would be approximately just a hair under $1 million. When you apply it to, if they were to focus on the beef cattle, on taking that, that would be approximately $1.14 million just for this ranch, this dairy farm, would be an increase in that much money. You got overhead and all that kind of stuff you got to subtract out, but the bottom line went up, and it's just phenomenal. And plus the meat production, and in the whole thing, which is not really their goal, but I mean it is in a lot of ways. Is these are healthier cows, they're beefier cows. We've got we're doing branching off into the we get some new software here. We're going to a dairy farm at the beginning of the year where they've like when the cow gets adjusted, they start eating more. When they eat more, they produce more. We have some statistics right now, but it's not like we're going to be moving into some software that's going to like record it, just data, where there's an increase in milk production. And that's phenomenal. And then also how fast they get up to beef, up to size where they can sell, and statistics all over, and we could talk all day about it. But that it's just unbelievable that this hasn't been approached at before, and
so are they finding
that's
that
where
their
we're at.
beef cattle are getting to market weight faster?
Oh, they get to market weight faster. They get more market weight. They and they get there healthier, and they get there with less intervention
So they have fewer
with
losses. So
Fewer
I'm gonna,
losses,
I'm gonna throw
fewer
this in
conditions.
there. So it's pretty common for most beef producers to expect a certain amount of weight loss just in shipping from the farm to the packing plant.
Yes.
And I wonder if these cows are actually not losing as much because their sympathetic tone is lower. So they're not as, they're less, they're more calm.
And I believe there's a couple of doctors with some statistics on that information. Um, but I am not, I mean, with what you're saying is what we're seeing with what we're doing with the cows, and when we move them from pen to pen and things like that. But again, this project's been going on now for since January, and the bubble's just coming up right now. It's with the directions we can go and the research that we can go. We've got the two projects right now with the hard breeders and um, how fast they become pregnant, and when they come into heat. And the next one will be like milk production, how much milk production's increased, and the beefier part of the cattle. So we'll be getting to those statistics as we come along into this next year, the beginning of it soon. So
Nice.
yay.
Awesome. So 50% more of they lose 50% fewer cows when they don't breed back because you're getting them pregnant. You have like a 35% increase in rate of reproduction overall between when we compare non-adjusted to adjusted because you went from 50% to 85%.
Yes. Yes.
And let me think what else. Plus, the beef cows are heavier and getting there faster.
Yes. Um, it was shown like when the one thing we noticed when we're going along and we're treating the cows and we're going through our protocol, deciding which cows need to be adjusted, we were noticing, cows that need to be adjusted are sitting there, they're kind of lethargic and they're not doing their math homework or anything. And we adjust them, and the first thing they want is a snack. They start eating, and we look back and we're going, those cows weren't eating. Now they're eating. So that got us going. And then there's a doctor in Minnesota that's been keeping track of that with that fancy software that keeps track of how much they eat. And now we're going to move it into a bigger arena and just see what those statistics really are. Um, and I mention like Life West, Chiropractic University is also joining in on the research, and we're getting some top-notch people that are head of research, and the head of Dr. Monica Smith, Dr. Charles Hennison. These are PhDs, DCs that are doing the statistical analysis, and they got all sorts of good stuff planned for me
Quick
to go
question.
out there. Sure.
Is the doctor in Minnesota using the same protocol that you're using?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Would that be beneficial?
It'll be beneficial when we all get together and start talking on this. There's doctors that I'm talking with Dr. Carolyn Longacre, and I'm talking with Dr. Hayek and Dr. Ormston. Um, Again, when I started this, I wanted to see what would happen if I used. I'm a Blair upper cervical advanced instructor, and I just wanted to see what would happen with using upper cervical. And I applied the technique and got some great results. And then took the extended part of what Dr. Ormston taught us at the A.C.E.S Institute, and my program's been put together by a combination of knowledge of my background and your folks' background, and we need more collaboration with other doctors in the field, getting all this stuff because it's rocking and rolling.
Well, great. Awesome stuff. Well, like I said, we're going to share this with Dr. Tenpenny and her executive assistant. I'm going to put it on YouTube so that the general public can listen to it and other doctors who are animal chiropractors can hear about how production, so this isn't just food animal adjusting, this is production animal adjusting, affects our food system.
Yes, and there's statistics here. I've got stuff. I got papers and stuff. But when we were getting into the statistics of like when we were treating the cows in the sick pen
Hmm.
versus how fast they got out of there, how many medications, and then versus not, statistically, and we had some what I considered impressive, but it wasn't our main focus. We ended up going where the money's going to be made at with the animals, but that is it's there's a difference. And these are all these statistics have to be researched out, and they wouldn't pass muster with the way that Life West Research Department's going to be taking over and doing this with all the stuff. But that these cows were statistically healthier. They needed less medications. Um, they just recouped faster when they were under chiropractic care. But we're going to get those statistics hardcore so that there'll be no wavering where people could say that those are no good because we were just doing this like I was going out there going, okay, I wonder what's going to work and what's not going to work. But we got some little stats here and there showing how healthy these cows were becoming using chiropractic care.
Are they noticing fewer and fewer cows in the sick pen?
They were noticing that the cows got out faster that had gotten sick. We were doing the sick cows for the first several months that we were doing it, and as we were doing baby calves and others, and in the last since July, we started in January. Since July, we have our main focus has been on pregnancy and hard calving, and we went away from the sick cow, but because
Mhm.
I was just not the
Yeah.
the research has to be done a specific way to prove anything, and we weren't being that. I didn't have that um, power statistical. I didn't have the means to put all that kind of a research study together, but that will come back around as we're moving forward, and now that we have the research team behind us and the other things, this is just going to be giant.
Now you're going to be able to actually see the benefits that you were making because you'll have
and
someone
and
making
back
more
it up.
obvious. Yep.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining me, Dr. Campbell. And
Well,
what what can someone do who wants to be in your shoes?
first thing they need to do is get their um, they need to get their classes out of the way, which is like they would have to go enroll in your school. I think there's several places, and I would recommend A.C.E.S because I'm a graduate of A.C.E.S, and it's you go there and you can work at your own pace and work. I can keep my practice running here, so I would get my animal chiropractic certificate diploma from A.C.E.S Chiropractic College or ACE Animal Chiropractic Education System. Then you got to take the ACVA test, and then you just walk out there. And by the time you get all that done, give us a call, and we'll be providing you with statistics and things like that, where you could walk up and grab yourself your own dairy farm and have yourself a job taking care of animals, which is wonderful.
So you took not just Animal Chiropractic 101, but you took some additional training. You did
I took your yes.
you did the advanced equine, but you also did food animal.
Yes.
adjusting, which I think probably makes a big difference in terms of the efficiency of how you're adjusting and the protocol that you've decided to land on.
Yes. And my background in upper cervical led me to that direction. Dr. Ormston also, I mean, emphasizes, but he also showed the importance of but the other end. And as you and I have discussed, so uh, all you got to take everything into consideration because chiropractic's great stuff. Um, and that's where the protocols that we've developed are, you know, taking the smartness of everybody's and put it together.
It's a combination
So,
of great people. Well, thanks so much
yes.
for joining me. I will be sharing this to YouTube and we'll put it out there for those people who have some say in what goes on in the rest of this country and how we affect our food and our food products. But I think you've got some great statistics that'll help them to see how beneficial animal chiropractic could be for lots of different things. Thanks for
And
joining.
more coming.
Exactly. For those of you who are listening, if you have more questions, you can find us at animalchiropracticeducation.com. You can find Dr. Campbell at acesalumni.com, and his contact information is there. Thanks a bunch, Dr. Campbell. Thanks for meeting with me.
Thank you, Dr. Amy. You have a great day.
You too.
Bye bye.